In this video tutorial, we're going to go a little bit more in depth about how to create the bright orange colors. We're going to do a couple of images and show you a few different techniques because sometimes you want to be a little bit more creative. So to start out with, let's just go through this orange image again. So on the left, we have the original image. On the right is the one we're going to convert. So as before, as we show people, create an orange separation, double click and assign that over to the Touch 7 Neon Pink. And click on OK and double click and assign that over to the correct ink on the press by going to the color picker. You can set up an action set on your computer. Obviously, if you've got a specific press like a Sharp or a Fuji, Xerox, Ricoh, whatever it is, just record this step and then you can just play the action and it'll do this bit for you just to speed that bit up. Okay, so click on OK. So now that we've done that, we're going to basically do the SCR button. So SCR. Go into here, choose which option you want. I'm going to go with option number 1, flatten the image, and then make a selection of the pixels by holding down the command key on the Mac, control on the PC to click on the neon pink. It will pick up all the pixels. Go onto your layers. I'm going to do a new adjustment layer for curves, and then we can start removing color. So cyan normally will contaminate colors in orange. It will help in the shadows a little bit, but we can get away with it in this one here. So what I'll typically do is I'll bring it across from the highlight edge to the end of that cyan separation there. Magenta, I'm just going to tease a little bit out in this direction, maybe pull a little bit down. We can come back to this and play around with it later if we want to, so maybe I'll just leave it like that one for now. Click on yellow. The yellow, I'm going to push a lot more yellow into the image to get more of that kind of like bright yellow color, which is what we want to be using. So bright yellow with pink will create an orange. And on the black, if you want to, you can remove some of the black shading, obviously depending on what you want to do. Now I can go into channels, click on the pink separation, open up curves, so Command L on a Mac, Control L on a PC, and take your shadow point and move it to the start of the histogram here, and that will set the deepest, most orangest part on the image. So now we've got that kind of like 021 looking orange image. If we compare it against the original one, like the lips have gone from an orangish colour to a red, and all the orange goes orange. Let's just turn off that pink and see what we've got underneath. So actually CMYK colour. And that's your pink. So it's a lovely looking image now, but if you decide that it's not quite your kind of orange, you can go into the curves, just double click, and because it's a non-destructive layer, we can go back in here and we can play around. So maybe we want to look at the magenta, and let's see if we can basically open up the magenta a little bit so we can make it slightly cleaner. So you can see what I'm doing there. By moving it from the highlight edge to the start of this histogram here, we're basically opening up that orange color, so it's not as magenta. Now, the less magenta you've got in the image, the brighter its colour is going to be. So you can see that some of that magenta has gone from that image now to replaced by that pink. So you do have full control of how you want to play around with the separations. So that is one typical way of working to create a bright orange, like an 021 type orange, from the image. Now, obviously, it's not exactly the same as this original image, but if it was this one that you wanted to print out, then basically you can print that out as CMYK. So why would you need to separate it using this workflow? So that's the way I look at it. So now let's close that down. Please also be aware that the plugin was never designed to do this. It's just something that I found that was quite a cool little trick by using a couple of pre-press techniques combined with both of the plugins. Okay, so now let's do this one image here. So lots of different color range on here. So in this case, we're going to do focusing again on the orange separation, and we're only going to do an orange. So it's going to target the kind of like the orange reddish kind of spectrum in here. So just to speed this one up and show you how it works, orange, go in, assign to the pink, assign to the press, or run your action set if you've saved your action set. Do the SCR, take a look at separation, which one you want to use. I'm going to go with option number 1 again, flatten that one down, make a selection, go into your curves, let's have a look at what we've got. Let's take that cyan out again, so magenta, let's work our way up here, and maybe down to the start around there. So basically setting like the shadow and the highlight points on that magenta separation. Now the yellow, we're going to set the shadow point up to here. Now we could, if we want to start playing this direction, but you would lose some of that yellow in the image. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then black, if you decide you want to remove some of the black, but you're going to lose it in the shading, so I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Go into the pink separation, and basically we can now push that up a little bit, and now we have color removed, replaced with the pink to create this kind of like pinkish, reddish, orangish looking design. So that's way of working with one color at a time. Now, what would you do if you actually had an image where you wanted to affect different colors? Like, for example, if you wanted to create, these pinky purple colors and the orange at the same time. Okay, so let's go and do it slightly different. So, ECG plugin, generate an orange, generate a violet, go to the neon plugin, generate a pink. So we've got basically 3 different color areas inside that image that have been separated out. So what we're going to do now, we're basically going to hold down the command key or control if you're on a PC and click on the orange separation. That picks up all the pixels that were created on that orange channel. And now we're going to click on the pink separation here and go to edit menu, fill, and fill it with black. So that basically means it's going to fill all the areas that were on the orange separation onto the pink. It's an easy way to be able to basically pick up areas and add it to another channel. So we're doing the same thing again, make a selection of the violet, go to fill and fill it in on the pink separation. So now we have all of the colors added into that pink channel. So now we can do the pink SCR button, and we can then choose which option we like, option number 1 or number 2. Let's go with number 2 this time. Flatten that down, make a selection of the pink channel, go into your layers, click on a new adjustment layers for curves, go into the cyan. Now it's going to be slightly different this time because we've got cyan components inside this image, so I'm not going to do anything with the cyan just yet. I'm just going to look at the magenta. So again, on this magenta, let's open it up this direction, maybe just push it up a little bit in this direction. So again, kind of like setting the shadow and highlight points. Yellow, let's push some more yellow into this design. Let's go up to here. Let's start that histogram part there. And now let's take a look at the cyan. So let's see what happens when we play around with the cyan. So you can see if I move the highlights, kind of like that violet sort of looking color, stops looking kind of like violetish color and starts looking more like pink. So you don't really want to be moving any color out that direction. And if we move it down this direction, we'll probably lose it well in the shadows. So it's one of these where probably on the cyan, you're probably going to end up leaving it as it is. You maybe want to even go the opposite direction and push a little bit cyan into these curve areas here. But again, because it's a non-destructive layer, we can leave it as it is. And we can come back to it and make some adjustments. What we can also do now is we can set our shadows and highlights and everything else on the layers by increasing it. So you can see there it's really taking the effect now on the orange separation. You can also use the boost button, so if you want to boost that up a bit more, add a couple more hits to it, you can do so. So we've now got a really bright, I think I've gone a bit too far on that one, let me just go back a couple of steps. So now I've got colour removed from the image to be compensated by the design. Now if I decide that I want to go in there and basically get rid of that cyan and keep it a bit more, this kind of like pinkish, cyany, violet-y kind of colour, or you can start pushing more colour into it. Again, it's completely up to you of how you want to control the image and colour correct it. So, do what you want to do with it. See how you like it, and if you're happy with it, save the file. What you can do here is obviously if you save that as a PSD file and take it into your page layout program, and then send it out to print. If you don't like what comes off the other end, you can always come back in here and adjust your curves. So, it's entirely up to you by doing it that way. So, colour removed. There's the pinks, we get that bright orange, the yellows, the pinks, the violets and everything else. So that's the way that we would use it as a combination for different colours in the image. Now, just to stress again, it was never designed to do this. It's just a cool trick that we found that works quite well. So depending on every image is different, you might get slightly different results. But have a go, play around, get creative with it and see what you think. Cheers, bye.